All right. Welcome, you guys. I'm Dr. Clarissa Yeager, and welcome back to another episode of Embrace Your Unique Self, discovering inner healing practices to trust your intuition, reclaim self-worth, and love the skin you're in. And I'm so excited to share our guest with you today. Her name is Cristina Aroche. She's one of the ladies I've been kind of stalking online for a little while now. Cristina is the ArchAngel healer and is a spiritual teacher and mentor. And she guides people on their journey of spiritual growth and awakening by helping them open up and deepen their connection to the angels. So through her work, Cristina supports others in helping them discover who they truly are, what their purpose is, and how they are meant to share their gifts with the world. And her angelic energy healings facilitate a powerful connection to self, the universe, and helps people let go of whatever is holding them back from living the life of their dreams. I mean, how amazing is that? So welcome, Cristina. I'm so jazzed that you could be here today with us.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and to connect with you and to just be in this energy. I love what you're creating with this. So I'm honored that I get to be a part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good vibes all around.
Yeah, totally.
So I know that you've had a couple you've had a very evolutionary and transformative experience already
Yeah.
through different careers and things like that. And so I was hoping you could share a little bit about your journey. And since we're talking about intuition today, how connecting with your intuition and with yourself just kind of really helped with that personal healing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. I would say that this whole journey kind of got catapulted back in 2012. And that was, I think, my first kind of looking back now. At the time, I didn't really realize this, but looking back now, I can see how that moment, which I'll share in just a moment, in 2012 really was my first connection with intuition and how it led me down this journey. And so what happened in 2012 and my whole life up until that point, I had been dealing with chronic illness. So I had eczema like all over my body my whole life. And it was just for me one of those things where, oh, I just have to deal with this. Like, this is just part of who I am, can't heal it. And so in 2012, I had a really, really, really bad flare up, like the worst that I'd ever had. And, going to doctors and talking to people and professionals and all those things, it was just kind of like, here, put a Band-Aid on it, like have this, steroid cream or whatever, just like a little Band-Aid thing over it. And some other symptoms that I've been having, they couldn't explain it and they didn't know what was going on. I was having all these tests and whatever. And that was when I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. Like, I can't live my life like this. And that, I think, like I said, is what catapulted me into this whole journey of intuition. Because what happened then is that I was like, kind of took matters into my own hands, and it was like, no, I'm going to figure this out. And so just following what I felt guided to do, which and in that time it was just my own ideas, or what I thought were my own ideas, of searching online, how to heal from eczema, natural ways, foods, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I just went down that path of learning and discovering and really reconnecting to myself. And, that's what I feel is the biggest thing with regards to intuition, is that intuition is that connection to your true self. It's the connection to your spiritual being. And so that's how my journey started, is connecting to that energy by, first of all, healing my body. And then after that, I did successfully heal myself through foods and through self-love and, just reconnecting to myself. That was probably about a year that it took me to do that. And then a couple of years later, I kind of it was like another big moment on my journey where I discovered meditation. And I was having a little bit of health issues again, where I had a little bit of a comeback of eczema that came around that time, like very tiny compared to what was going on in 2012. But again, I was kind of like, what is going on? Why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
And, alongside that, I discovered meditation. I didn't really put the link to the two and two together, that, meditating and getting to spirituality and moving forward on that part of my journey, discovering more of myself, what had any link to my health, to my actual physical body. But through that journey of, you know, when I started meditating, I had no idea what I was doing. I just had read a blog that said, someone was like, yeah, like I did a 30-day meditation challenge and it changed my life. And it was just so interesting to me, which again, part of my intuition of, oh, this is something that feels really good. I should try that, you know? And I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that, oh, I'll just focus on my breath. And so my meditation practice, I never really did any guided meditations. And if anyone does, that's awesome and that's great. But for me personally, what was necessary, I guess, was for me to just follow what felt good. And so then through that, I naturally just started to connect with my chakras, and I had no idea what I was connecting to, but it was like I could feel my chakras. And just from there, everything I could see now, looking back, as we always can, 2020 hindsight vision,
Right.
is that everything that I was just felt really pulled to do. So to me, my intuition feels like I lean into what feels good. I lean into what excites me. I lean into just what feels right in my body. And so for me, it was following, you know, different spiritual teachers and people that I was discovering on YouTube and online and whatever, books that I was reading that were talking about spirituality. And it just felt right. It felt good. And I followed that path. And then that is what led me to being here where I am today. That whole aspect where I, you know, following different spiritual teachers, I discovered that that's what I wanted to do. Like I remember I heard someone talking about, you know, this whole journey of, you know, being a light worker and sharing light and sharing love and helping other people. And it was like something got lit up within me. I was like, oh, yes, that's what I need to do. Because up until the point I had a corporate job, my journey with healing eczema had inspired me to help people through nutrition and doing health coaching and that kind of thing. So I was kind of pursuing that career as well. But like that wasn't really gaining any traction. But when I heard this term of spiritual teacher and light worker and just that energy, I was like, oh my God, like something just lit up inside of me. And so that was then another sign, you know, another sign of intuition that said, that is what you need to do. And from that moment, I was like, I don't know how, I have no idea how it's going to look for me, but that's what I need to do. And since then, so, you know, fast forward to 2016, end of 2016, when I was getting into, you know, working with energy healers and just getting into that whole aspect of everything, started working with someone that I thought was just going to help me to discover more of who I was, which in my mind was, oh yeah, I'm supposed to help people heal from chronic illness. I'm a health coach, you know? And what I discovered there following that was that no, I actually have the ability to work with energy and to connect with the angels. And that whole world just opened up another, you know, it was like these moments in my journey so far that have been really pivotal, life-changing things, you know? And so from then, you know, building my business around being a spiritual teacher and a healer and talking about angels, that has been a huge thing in its own of me following my intuition on a deeper level. Everything that I do in my business and my life, but in my business in particular and how I've built it and what I share with people and all that has all come from the space of intuition and what feels good to me and what I feel guided to do. And it has been the best decision that I've ever made in my life. You know what I mean? Like I remember when I had to kind of share it with my friends and my family and my audience that I had kind of started building with the other business, saying, you know, this has been what's been going on behind the scenes. I've been doing on the spiritual journey. I've been discovering these things about myself. And now I'm coming forward and I'm telling you all that I'm changing this. I'm going to be talking about spirituality and I'm going to be talking about angels and this is what I'm doing. So if you love that and you want to stick around, that's great. But if you don't, I totally get it. That was, you know, so scary for me to think about that. But something inside of me knew it was like this pull, again, a sign of intuition. Like you feel this pull that no, I just have to do it. I just have to share it. And I did. And like I said, it's been the best decision ever. So there have been lots of moments along this journey in the past, however long it's been, like 7, 8 years almost, of, different things, intuition showing up in different ways, I find, and it evolving over time, which I feel is really important for people to know, is that your intuition grows. And as you lean into it more and you trust it and you follow that, you kind of have a deeper connection with it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, sounds like it. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very courageous journey too, because, well, you know, just pivoting your whole career and being like,
Mhm.
hey, coming out of the spiritual closet, this is what I'm up
Yeah.
to now. And some people are like, what?
Right.
But
Yeah.
like you knowing, like with all your knowingness, that it's, your path, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So
Mhm.
I think that's really courageous for people to know and for people to see that like sometimes, you can do a complete 180 and like it's okay. It's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I love how, in the beginning you were just, since we're talking about intuition, you were just kind of like following what made you feel good. Because I think
Mhm.
that's a really good key. Because sometimes people get really in their head about like, oh, is that intuition? Is that not intuition? Is that just like my right brain or my left brain? Like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just as simple as like, what resonates? Like, what's going to make you feel good? What are you pulled towards? And I think you use the words like light up. Like, what type, like when you think about certain things or doing certain things, like what is lighting you up? And it was just like, you start to like follow the breadcrumbs a little bit
Yeah.
into these things that make you feel good and these things that make you feel expansive. And I think as you work with your intuition, like any muscle, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's one of those things, I think, where because it's like exactly like you said, a muscle that gets stronger, and it's also you just become more
Mhm.
connected to yourself. Do you know what I mean? So you just know yourself on such a like at a such a deep level that you kind of just know. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And sometimes it's a hard thing to describe, but it's something that we all have. So it's not that some people are more intuitive or than other people, or some people have this gift and other people don't, or whatever. Everyone has it. It's just about harnessing it and tuning into it. And at first you can feel uncertain, you might need validation. That's totally normal and that's fine. But it's that practice of, okay, I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to trust in what I feel. And
Mhm.
in doing that over and over and over again is what makes you confident in following your intuition, knowing what that feels like, and knowing the nuances. Because yeah, like you said, there can be moments when we don't know, and sometimes I still question, like, is that my intuition, is that not? Like, we can get into our heads, everyone does, you know what I mean? But it's about you really feel the nuance in the energy when it's kind of like, no, that is my intuition versus that's fear, or that's my logical brain, or whatever it is. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I feel like it's a lifelong practice, you know what I mean? So it's something that we can always get better and better and better at. It's a never ending journey,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constant evolution.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So what, like you started to allude to it a little bit there, but like, why do you think it's so important that people learn how to explore their intuition? Like they have some curiosity about it. Why do you think that's so
Mm.
important?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah. So, like I said before, your intuition is your connection to your spiritual being. It's a connection to who you truly are, and that's something that will always be a part of you. That you can't just like leave it aside or whatever. It's the essence of who you are. And so, when you connect to your intuition, you're connecting to that spiritual energy. You're connecting to that truth, to that essence of your soul. And when you do that, it allows you, or it supports you in being able to live your life to its greatest potential. It enables you to know what your purpose is, to know who you are, what you're meant to be doing, how you're meant to be helping others, what is the impact you're meant to be creating, whatever it is that you're meant to be doing. When you're connected to your intuition, you're connected to that whole stream of energy, and it completely supports you in being able to follow the path that is for your highest good, and that leads you to that potential that you're able to live in. So yeah, it is a really powerful thing. And like I said, everyone has the ability to tune into their intuition. Everyone has that connection to their intuition. I've heard people say in the past, but I'm not intuitive, or I don't have that connection or whatever. And it's only because you haven't practiced it. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing. Like, you can't not have intuition because it's the core of who you are.
Mm.
So yeah. So it is a really important, I would say, thing to explore, and really powerful thing to explore, because it leads you to things that you could have never even imagined. Like for me, back in that time period before 2016, when I was just, I had this desire to help people and to show up and serve and all these things, but I could have never even imagined that the way that I was truly meant to do it was through this work that I do today as a spiritual teacher, talking about angels, channeling angels, all the things that I do. That was not in my mind in 2016, and no, I would have never guessed that, but it was because of my intuition and following what was in front of me in that moment. It's a moment to moment thing, and it leads you, like you had said before, those breadcrumbs, that leads you to that bigger picture that you are meant to step into. And you don't necessarily have to know what it is, but you just have to trust and follow what's in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So,
sometimes it's such a happy surprise. Like you said, it is even more amazing than you could have imagined before
yeah.
you were doing that. So
Yeah. I feel like everything that I've, created in my life, or that I've followed, anything that I've pursued with my intuition, whether it's business or personal life, it has always turned out way better than I could have imagined, and
yeah,
it's a
who
great
doesn't
feeling.
want that?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like a happy birthday surprise, like all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
So how would you suggest, like, how do you talk to your clients or recommend how they connect and cultivate their intuition? Like
Mhm.
we talked about sort of just like following what feels good. Is there something else that you can add to that as far as
Yeah.
helping people tap into that?
Right. Yeah. So, there's a couple things. One, I would say for sure to have some sort of meditative practice, or some practice where you're connecting to your spiritual energy. So for many people, that looks like meditation. That's a really great way to do that, where basically all you're doing is you're sitting, in a quiet space, have your eyes closed, connecting to your breath, and just being in the present moment. That's the simplest way that you can begin to do that, is
Mhm.
just being in that present moment. Another way that I would suggest, or another form of that, is maybe for people who really enjoy nature, like going out in nature and just sitting and being in that present moment. So those are a couple of different ways that you can get into that meditative energy to connect with your spirituality and connect with that spiritual essence. That's a really big thing. And like we had said before, following what feels good, and really tuning into like your body and how that feels. So once you get familiar with what it feels like in your body when something is aligned to you, you ask yourself and you tune in, and what does that feel like? And for many people, it feels expansive. It feels really good. Like the heart chakra feels like it's opening up. If something isn't aligned to you, or, is not meant for you or whatever, then it'll feel like your body kind of like closes, kind of feels like you're just closing down. So getting familiar with how your body feels, getting familiar with how just your emotions feel, all of those things, they all support this whole, connecting to your intuition, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just talking today about how our body is constantly receiving information,
Hmm.
subconsciously and consciously, and um, it's really important to pay attention to the sensations that you're getting in your body, because those are the subtle messages that
Yeah.
we're always getting, and so that's definitely part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I would say too, that is important to recognize with, developing your intuition, is also looking at what things come up that, in the sense of like fear or anxiety or doubt, like that kind of energy, like what are the thoughts and beliefs and emotions that come up that kind of have like a block towards feeling your intuition. Because when we look at what those things are, the fear and the doubts and whatever that come up, and we can clear those out and we can release that energy, then that also helps strengthen our intuition. Do you know what I mean? And so working in terms of working with angels, they're a really great way to help support us in our connection to ourselves, connection to our intuition. And specifically talking about intuition, Archangel Uriel and Archangel Gabriel are the best angels to call on to support you. And so basically when it comes to calling on angels and working with that energy to support our spiritual growth and connection, all you have to do is just say, Archangel Uriel, please support me in being able to connect to my intuition, or Archangel Uriel, please help me to receive clarity around this situation, whatever it may be, so that I can know what is right for me. You know what I mean? And so they can help us too. It's kind of like they have that influence for us to be able to more clearly feel into what is right and what is not, you know, and you can do the same thing with Archangel Gabriel. So those are the two that I would suggest in terms of connecting with angels to help you. But otherwise, it really is like what we just talked about, that internal thing, connecting to ourselves, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Now, I appreciate you sharing the two, Archangel Uriel and Archangel Gabriel, with us in that way. So I think a lot of people know a couple of the archangels, or maybe the audience doesn't. So this is this is a little introduction to them, but that's a really important piece to share, just from like your particular style, your unique style of healing. So I appreciate you sharing them with us.
Yeah. I just felt like they were like coming forward, and I was like, I have to say something about them.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I'm glad. I'm sure the audience appreciates it too. So, yeah. And as the Archangel channel, can you just share, kind of moving from intuition to like self-love? Can you share with us kind of like an overall message from the angels for like women who are wanting to reconnect with their heart, or reconnect with their self-worth and their self-love, just sort of that deep restorative love?
Yeah. So regarding that, I feel Archangel Raphael, who is stepping forward, he's the one who comes in, and he is often associated with the heart chakra, with self-love. So Archangel Raphael is a really great angel to call on. But what the message is with regards to that, for people to know, is that you is this reminder that you are worthy and that you deserve your own love, and that no matter what experiences that you've had in the past that have caused you to take on the truth or take on the belief that you're not worthy, or that you're not good enough, or that you're not lovable, or whatever kind of story it is that has been created, what he's coming in to help you to remember, and this is really a remembrance, and it's a release of what those false identities are saying, and a remembrance that you are worthy, and that just you as who you are, you do not have to prove yourself, you do not have to do anything, that you, just as you are right now, you deserve that love, and you are worthy of that love, your own love, right? We're not even talking about other people or anything like that, your own love to yourself. And to be open to receiving that love, and that as you begin to, even show yourself small moments of appreciation, of love, of praise, whatever it may be, just these little moments here and there, you can build that and build that and build that. And being consciously aware of you receiving that love from yourself helps build that and build that. And like I said, Archangel Raphael is the one to support you with that. But it's really like this, it's one of those things, I feel like many people think like, okay, I just need to fully immerse myself and I'm going to fully love myself like this, but it really is a moment to moment to moment choice that we make, whether or not we do things that support that love towards ourselves or not, you know what I mean? And if you slip up, or you revert back to old habits or whatever, that's okay. That's okay. It's not about being perfect. It's about having that, making that choice moment to moment to moment, to appreciate yourself, to praise yourself, to love yourself, to know that you are worthy and that you are deserving. And each little moment where you do lean into that, it's building up the energy, and you build it and you build it and you build it and you build it. And that's how self-love evolves. You know what I mean? It's not something that's like all in or all out. It's something that evolves over time. And I feel like we all go through it. Like, I don't think self-love is ever-ending journey, like we talked about before, is something that we all go through as, spiritual beings having this human experience. Self-love is a really deep and powerful lesson that we go through for our entire life, and we just increase it on a much deeper level as we go along. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's infinite. And
mhm.
I like how you said it's just like this constant like cultivation of it, because it's, we live in such a quick fix society. You can't just like love
Yeah,
yourself. I mean, you can, but it might take some reprogramming a
yeah,
little bit. And so just that constant awareness and choosing it moment to moment, I think is really important, a really important message for people to hear.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, definitely. So
Wonderful. Well, this was awesome.
it was.
And I was saying to the audience before we hopped on, I was like, isn't her hair amazing? Because I was like, oh, kind of have the same, same awesomeness happening.
Yeah, totally. The curly hair vibes are strong right now.
And talk about embracing your unique self. We were both saying that how we used to straighten our hair. So,
Yep. It's all about the self-love. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so before we wrap up with Cristina, I want to let you guys know that she recorded a very special meditation just for this audience, just for you guys. And it's called Connecting to Your Inner Wisdom. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, Cristina?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's a meditation that you can listen to at any time. You can listen to it, first thing in the morning. You can listen even while you're going to sleep. Like you can fall asleep to it if you want to. And basically what this does is it supports you, first of all, in helping you to, like I said before, release any fears or any blocks, any doubts, anything that is stopping you from having that deep connection to your intuition and to your inner spiritual being. So if when I mentioned that earlier, if you're like, how do I clear it, this is a really great way to clear that energy out and to support that deeper connection. The other thing that this meditation does is that it helps you to get familiar with the angels. So I work with, and all of my healings and meditations and everything that I do, I always bring in the angelic energy. And so this is a really great way for you to feel the angels. If you're curious about them, if you're like, how do you work with them? Or how do they support us? This helps you to kind of get a taste of what it feels like to work with our energy and how their energy can support you in your energy, just like what I had mentioned earlier. So this is a really great meditation to connect to whenever you need to just have that, you maybe feel disconnected from yourself and you're like, I need to reconnect back to my true self. If you've been having fear, anxiety, like I said, or any other kind of things that have been blocking you, to clear that out and to just have a deeper connection with your spirituality. It's one of those things, like we've been talking about, that it can always get deeper and more expansive. And so this is something that you can listen to as often as you'd like, every day, once a month, whatever, multiple times a day, whatever you feel called to do. But it's a really great way to support you in being able to connect to your inner wisdom, to your intuition, to who you truly are. And of course the angels. So you get to experience it all in one. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for recording, making that so special for this audience. So please click on the link to get Christina's meditation, please. So so Cristina, thank you so much for your time and sharing your story and your journey and introducing the audience to angels that might not be familiar with them. So I really appreciate that, and I know they do too. So, and thank you to the audience. I'd love for you to hit reply and let me know if there's something specific that resonated about our interview today with Cristina. And obviously, again, don't forget to grab her free gift. It's amazing. And stay tuned for more interviews to help you embrace your unique self. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.